Last Tuesday, I went to the doctor because I was having a little bit of pain in my knee, and I was really just trying to figure out what was going on. Well, next thing you know, 3 days later, I'm in surgery and I'm getting this thing worked on, and I was out for the count. Now, I'm sorry that I wasn't able to post anything on this channel. I know it has been about 4 or 5 days now, and I've really been struggling to try to get out of bed. I was trying to get out of bed to get this video out, but sitting in this desk was so hard. It was just, I couldn't really bend my knee at all, but it has gotten a lot better. I have been able to walk around a little bit more, and now that, I can kind of get out of bed, get a little bit fresh, and get back in front of the camera, I am so excited to just say that we are back. Once again, I am sorry that it has been a good few days. We do have a good bit of stuff to cover, and I plan on covering all of it. I'm trying to get these videos, out daily just to make up lost ground and to pick up where we left off. If you guys do enjoy these videos, if you are happy that I'm back, you can let me know by smashing that like button and let me know down in the comment section below. If you are new to the channel and this is the first video you're seeing, I hope you do enjoy the content. If you found it valuable, if you find it entertaining, or any of the above, you can let me know by smashing that subscribe button. But with that being said, let's go ahead and let's jump straight into the video. So last week I was not able to post my news recap and reaction video that I usually do every single week. It's basically a video where I'll go over everything that happened that week. I'll go over the price action. I'll go over a little bit of news that came out, any catalyst that may have pushed it up or pushed it down. And in today's video, I plan on getting that covered. And I know it is Monday and I know it is a new week, but I would like to really get into last week and make sure I'm not missing out on anything, especially to make it easy on any of you guys who are trying to go back and look in previous weeks to see what all changed and the process that this whole company has been on. So in today's video, we will be going over just that. I will be going over everything that happened last week, news-wise, give my reactions, my predictions, and anything that I believe could have really affected the stock and the company overall over the last 7 days. Now, there actually was surprisingly not that much news last week. It was a week that was remotely slow in a sense. I would say the price action was kind of driving it all over the place, so the stock was volatile. But I'll say whenever it comes to news, we didn't really get that much. Now, some news we did get last week, which was absolutely major, was that Jose Oxholm would be taking over as vice president and that he would be taking on a very big position at Hyliion. Now, this was actually very good news. It was very promising, and it leads to the thought that Hyliion is on a very good track. Now, if you don't know who Jose Oxholm is, Jose Oxholm has had some of the highest positions in some very large companies. He's worked for companies like LoJack Corporation. He's worked for Goodyear Tire and Company. He's worked for Meritor Inc. He has worked for some very high companies, and he has been around the block. He has seen some of the, a lot of the details, a lot of the fine print, and a lot of the things that go into making the operation run. He's going to be hired on as the legal counsel, the chief of compliance, and the vice president, and so he will be taking on a very major role at Hyliion. Now, I do a full breakdown of this, addition to Hyliion. I go over a lot more in depth about what exactly he's done in the past and what I think he can bring to the company. If you do click the card above, or if you do go to the description below, it will get you over there to that video where you can see a full analysis on the whole introduction to Hyliion to him and what I think is going to happen from it. Now, again, like I said, whenever it comes to overall news, it was pretty slow. Now, of course, we had the introduction of Jose Oxholm, but there really wasn't much else after that. It was a whole bunch of little articles that went back and forth doing some comparisons to Hyliion and other companies or anything, but it wasn't really any major. It wasn't like Hyliion released this or Hyliion announces that. It's been pretty slow, but that obviously clearly has not stopped the price from going up and up. Now, one thing I have noticed, and a little trend that I have noticed with this stock, and which I'm starting to notice with the overall market itself, is the momentum and how fast momentum can swing. Because I remember not only maybe 8 or 9 days ago, Hyliion was falling, people weren't so interested, the shorters were beating it down, analysts weren't giving it any credit, and it was just really getting brought down a lot. Now, one thing I also noticed whenever it comes to articles is that as Hyliion was falling, less and less articles are being written about it. Like, I remember there was days where we'd go 2 or 3 days without a single new article being written about Hyliion, and it was absolutely insane. Now, as a Hyliion content creator, someone who posts Hyliion on my channel a lot, that was pretty difficult because there was not much for me to post. But nowadays, now that we're seeing Hyliion sort of, turn around a bit, it's climbed all the way from 18, 19 up to 26, 27. We're starting to see that momentum swing. We're starting to see a lot of these different articles comparing Hyliion to Workhorse. Or is Hyliion really a buy? Hyliion is the furthest thing from a buy. And you really start to see all these little articles and journals come out simply because they're trying to get on some of this momentum. Now, that is a good sign to me personally as an investor because the people who make these articles know what people want to hear. They're not just going to be writing articles about stocks and companies that no one really cares about, because at the end of the day, no one's going to read them. If no one reads them, they're not making any revenue, and they're really just wasting their time. So as an investor, again, whenever I do see a lot of these little smaller articles come out, it's kind of a signifier to me that we're seeing a swing in the right direction. Because especially, like I said, as of recently, we have been getting destroyed for the last 40 days at this point. And so to really see some of this momentum swing is an absolutely amazing feeling. So let's see how it does hold up. If we continue to see some of these smaller articles being written, just some of these ones that just like price target for Hyliion, Hyliion versus Tesla, Hyliion versus Neo, and all these little different things, I absolutely love to see them, because once again, that means that these people want to see it, and they're actually, people are getting interested. And what happens when people get interested in a company? Well, they're going to consider buying it. Because if someone doesn't really know about a company, of course, how would they buy it? Well, if you're seeing all this new press coming out about Hyliion, it's starting to do well, so all these little analysts and journalists want to start putting out press about them. Then the new investors or people who might not know much about Hyliion start to see these, and it's like, man, I've done seen this Hyliion company over and over and over again. Maybe I need to give them a look. And then next thing you know, they're like, wow, this is interesting. And then next thing you know, they end up investing. That is literally exactly what happened to me. That was the whole process. I really didn't know much about Hyliion at all. I saw a couple YouTube videos. I saw a lot of, articles being posted about it. And I was like, man, what is this? Like, okay, let me not be that guy who just lives under a rock. Well, next thing you know, now I'm purchasing share after share. I make YouTube videos about it. And so I do believe that these smaller articles are super duper important. And we did see a big rise in them over the last 9 or 10 days. And so here we are on the interactive chart. I'm pulling this up on Yahoo Finance. It just does make my life a little bit easier being able to draw the lines out, especially since we are doing this on a Monday. But as we can see, everything within these bars is going to be last week. This will be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and of course Friday. And we can basically see that last week was very, very interesting. We saw a lot of growth, but we also did see a little bit of shorting going on. And so it will be, quite interesting to see exactly how that all played out. But we can see here that Monday was a very, very low point in comparison to where we are now. It had been a pretty slow week going into this week. We hadn't really seen much gains. We saw a little bit of stability, like it wasn't losing as much, but it definitely wasn't as high as it had previously been, in the last 2 months. But it did start pretty low. I'm seeing it drop somewhere to around the $21.65 range. And over the course of this whole Monday, we saw these big bursts. We saw the people trying to push it back down a little bit, especially I know it had some shorters trying to catch that and just try to drop it back down, but they were obviously not having much success, as it did end the day somewhere around $23.53. Now, coming into Tuesday, it was it was a weird morning. I do actually remember this Tuesday. I had a lot of stuff going on with my doctor, but I do remember that this was a very weird little span of time where there was not much activity going on at all. So a bit of a drop and a bit of some increase, but overall it stayed the same all the way up until about the middle of the day, where we did see this thing just absolutely take off. It took off all the way up to about $25.36, but of course the shorters are still sitting around a bit and they started to push it back down. Had a little bit more success. We pushed it all the way back up to almost $26, and then we saw it again fall all the way back down towards $25.34 to end of the day. So this day was obviously major. It was over a 10% day. We saw it climb from over $23.50 all the way back up to $25.30. Now the next day, we're looking at Wednesday here in this box here. It was actually a pretty weird day. I thought it was going very well until it absolutely was not. It started off, pre-market trading was huge. It pushed it all the way up into the high 25 range. But of course, as the day did go on, we saw it getting pushed up. And then once it started to stabilize, I got a little bit worried. I knew around this $27 mark was somewhere around a point of resistance, so I wasn't quite sure if it would push past it, but I wasn't expecting what happened to happen. Now, it did stabilize a bit up here, and then it fell all the way back down to about the 25 range, which was quite weird. I wasn't really expecting it to drop that far that fast. The shorting volume did explode this day. We saw the shorters just take over as soon as it started to meet some resistance, and I don't think it had enough strength up here to manage and to maintain. And so we saw it try to slow down a little bit and come back down to here. Now that was about it for Wednesday. Going into Thursday, it was a bit of a more stable day. This is one of the least volatile days we did see this whole week. Now, I honestly don't remember much of this day at all as I was going in through surgery, but from what we can see here is that it started off the day somewhere around this $24.80 mark, ended the day around the $24.40 mark. So honestly, once again, not too much going on there. It did have its moments where it did seem like it could potentially be starting a minor uptrend there. We saw a few higher highs and a few higher lows, but of course it did not maintain. The shorters are still around. We cannot forget that. So anytime this stock or the stock price gets a little bit shaky, or maybe the buyers aren't buying as much, the shorters are typically tend to take over. We will go over the shorting volume just to get a little look of when exactly these were starting to push these down. But it did end the day at a pretty negative mark. It went down a good little bit, about 40 cents, 50 cents, but again, nothing super duper substantial. Now, whenever it comes to Friday was pretty interesting. Now, I was in the middle of surgery on Friday, so I actually didn't get to see this live, but we did see that the day started off around $24.30 something cents. It went down a little bit, and met some of that previous day resistance around this area here, and so it was nice to see it hold up there. and then it just absolutely took off. We saw a gain over $1 in one little session over the course of about 2 hours there, and then it maintained it over the course of the rest of the day to finish off on a very strong week. So as we can tell, just looking at this overall chart, that Hyliion's week last week was absolutely phenomenal. And that's not even including this, which is this week. We're just taking a look at what exactly is going on with last week. We saw them start the day in the 21 range and ended it all the way up in the 25s. That is some substantial growth. That's between 15 to 20% over the course of this week. Now, we're not even going to talk about when it was up here in this 27 range. Even with this big fall, even with millions of short volume happening, it still maintained and it still held up. And if we look at the overall month at a glance, let's see, we can see that this week was pretty dang on strong. This not even including this big run up here or this big run up that we're seeing at the moment. The overall week was very strong, and I'm very, very happy about it as a Hyliion investor. So that will pretty much be it for today's video. Once again, there was not too much going on. I did want to make sure that I covered any major news that came out, gave my opinion on some of the smaller fine print, some of the details of the week, and of course I went over the price action as well. That's kind of how I like to set up these videos. If you are new to the channel and if you do enjoy that format, just a brief little summary of the week every single week, you can let me know down below in the comment section below. You can give me feedback, you can give me some criticism, pretty much anything that you guys say I always read and take into consideration, so definitely do not hesitate to let me know something down there. If you are new to the channel, if you want to smash that like button to help my channel get out there, help it spread, help with the engagement, it is really much appreciated from my side. And if you are new to the channel, once again, if you did find this video valuable, if you found any value in it, just going into your investing, if you found it entertaining, you can always just scroll down a little bit, press that red subscribe button, and help the channel out a lot. But until then, I will be posting a new video every single day this week, hopefully. I can't really make any promises with my knee just because it has good days and bad days, but it's my current plan at the moment to get a video out every single week to cover what we missed last week and to pick up steam this week. So if you are looking forward to that, and if you are excited, I hope to see you guys soon. Peace.